Have you ever paused to consider what might lead to World War III? Let's delve into this daunting possibility. Historically, world wars stem from a complex web of escalating conflicts and deep-seated tensions among nations. From the assassination that ignited the First World War to the political alliances that drew lines across continents in the Second, history is a stark reminder of how quickly sparks can turn into infernos. To safeguard our future, it's crucial we recognize and understand these potential triggers. Understanding these triggers could be our best defense against such a devastating event. Politics often sets the stage for international conflicts. But how? At the heart of global politics are territorial disputes, which have historically been a major catalyst for conflict. For instance, the South China Sea, a crucial maritime region, is claimed by several nations including China, the Philippines, and Vietnam. This area is not only rich in resources, but is also a vital commercial shipping route. The overlapping claims have led to increased military presence and confrontations, heightening tensions that could potentially escalate into larger conflicts. Another significant factor is the rise of nationalism. This sentiment can foster a deep sense of pride and unity within a nation. However, it can also lead to aggressive foreign policies as governments seek to assert their dominance or reclaim territories they consider historically theirs. Eastern Europe presents a clear example of this, where historical grievances and ethnic ties often resurface, complicating international relations and sometimes leading to military engagements. Shifts in global power dynamics also play a crucial role. As emerging economies gain more influence, traditional powers may feel threatened, leading to a realignment of alliances and potentially confrontational postures. The dynamic interplay between rising powers such as China and India and established powers like the United States and Russia creates a complex web of diplomatic relationships that can be delicate to navigate. Alliances and treaties designed to foster cooperation and ensure mutual defense can also paradoxically lead to conflicts. NATO, for instance, is an alliance that promises mutual defense against aggression, but its expansion has been viewed with suspicion and hostility by Russia, which sees it as a threat to its sphere of influence. This has led to strained relations and military buildup on both sides. In conclusion, while political ambitions can build nations, they can also lead to their downfall. The interplay of territorial claims, nationalist sentiments, shifts in global power, and the intricate network of alliances and treaties creates a volatile mix that could, if not managed wisely, lead to significant international conflicts. Could a fight over resources really plunge the world into war? Throughout history, the scramble for resources has been a frequent precursor to conflict. Today, as we stare down the barrel of the 21st century, this dynamic has not changed. Rather, it has intensified. Nations are now grappling not just over territories, but over water, oil, minerals, and even data, the lifelines of modern economies. Consider the fierce competition for oil. It's not just about energy, it's about power and geopolitical influence. Nations that control significant oil reserves can wield considerable influence on the global stage, often leading to tensions with those who depend on these resources. Similarly, rare earth elements, crucial for everything from smartphones to military technology, are predominantly controlled by a handful of countries. This monopolistic control can lead to trade wars and economic sanctions as nations attempt to secure their technological and military futures. Then there's water, an increasingly scarce resource that has already sparked disputes across continents. As rivers and lakes that cross national borders dwindle, countries are forced into a precarious balancing act between conservation and consumption, often causing tensions with neighbors who share the same water sources. Economic instability only adds fuel to the fire. In regions where economies are faltering and inequality is rising, discontent brews. This often translates into aggression as governments seek to distract from internal troubles or harness nationalist sentiments to consolidate power. Economic sanctions, while intended as non-military tools of diplomacy, can sometimes have the opposite effect, crippling economies and worsening the very instabilities they aim to resolve. As these economic pressures mount, so does the likelihood of conflict. The interplay between economic instability and resource scarcity creates a vicious cycle where nations not only have to contend with internal pressures, but also with external threats that could spiral into larger conflicts. As resources dwindle and populations grow, the fight for economic supremacy becomes fiercer. This relentless competition, if left unchecked, could indeed be the spark that lights the tinderbox of global conflict. Imagine how social issues could escalate into global conflict. In today's interconnected world, social factors play a pivotal role in shaping international relations. Migration, ideological conflicts, and internal civil unrest are not just local issues, but have the potential to ignite broader conflicts that cross national boundaries. Take migration, for instance. As people move across borders fleeing war, persecution, or economic hardship, they often meet resistance in host countries. This resistance can manifest as xenophobia or economic anxiety among the local population, leading to social tensions. In some cases, these tensions have spurred political shifts, pushing nations towards more isolationist or aggressive foreign policies. Ideological conflicts, too, have transcended national borders. The clash between different belief systems, whether political, religious, or cultural, can exacerbate tensions between nations. For example, the spread of extremist ideologies has often led to international alliances and conflicts influencing global peace and security. Moreover, internal civil unrest can also have international repercussions. When citizens rise against their own governments, whether for democratic reforms, against corruption, or other social injustices, the effects can ripple outward. Other nations may intervene directly or provide support to one side, often under the guise of promoting democracy or stabilizing the region, but sometimes exacerbating the conflict instead. Amidst all these factors, social media and information warfare play a critical role. In the digital age, misinformation can spread rapidly across borders. State and non-state actors can manipulate information to influence public opinion or destabilize rival nations. This digital battleground can create a sense of chaos and distrust among nations, further complicating international relations. As we delve deeper into these social sparks, it becomes evident that they are not isolated incidents. They are deeply intertwined with the global landscape, influencing and shaping the dynamics of potential conflicts. The fabric of society, when torn, can have rippling effects across our connected world. Can diplomacy be the shield that protects us from global conflict? In the intricate webs of international relations, diplomacy stands as a beacon of hope, aiming to resolve disputes through dialogue and negotiation rather than through force or coercion. The role of diplomacy cannot be underestimated. At its core, diplomacy involves managing international relations through communication, negotiation, and compromise. It is the art and practice of conducting negotiations between representatives of states. It is essential for maintaining a stable world where nations cooperate and coexist peacefully. Historically, diplomacy has played a crucial role in averting potential disasters. Take, for example, the Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962. Through intense and careful diplomatic negotiations, the world stepped back from the brink of a nuclear war. The leaders of the United States and the Soviet Union engaged in a tense 13-day political and military standoff, but ultimately, dialogue and negotiations prevailed, preventing a catastrophic conflict. Furthermore, international laws and agreements, such as the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, have been instrumental in promoting peace and security. These agreements are not merely documents, but are vital tools for international diplomacy, ensuring that all parties adhere to agreed-upon rules and standards, thus preventing conflicts. The United Nations, established in 1945, serves as a global platform for diplomacy. Its primary purpose is to prevent war and to resolve conflicts peacefully. The UN has been involved in numerous peacekeeping missions, mediating in places where tensions could easily escalate into war. The efforts of UN diplomats in negotiating peace agreements in war-torn regions highlight the critical importance of diplomacy in maintaining global peace. In today's world, where conflicts can arise unexpectedly and escalate quickly, the role of diplomacy is more crucial than ever. It requires patience, skill, and a deep understanding of the cultures and histories of the parties involved. Effective diplomacy can diffuse tensions, build mutual trust, and promote understanding among nations. In a world quick to conflict, diplomacy remains our most enduring hope. Now that we've explored these potential triggers, what role do we play? In the vast tapestry of global interactions, every thread, every one of us, plays a pivotal role in crafting the future. It's tempting to view world affairs as distant, complex, and beyond our influence. However, the reality is quite different. Each action, each voice contributes to either escalating tensions or building bridges. Let's take a moment to reflect on our daily choices. Are we engaging with the world in a way that promotes understanding and peace? This could be as simple as educating ourselves about international issues, or as involved as advocating for policies that foster global cooperation. The news we read, the conversations we have, and the leaders we support all ripple outwards, influencing not just our immediate circles, but eventually international relations. Moreover, in this interconnected world, supporting peaceful resolutions doesn't just mean advocating for diplomacy abroad. It also involves promoting tolerance and inclusivity in our own communities. After all, global peace starts with local harmony. As responsible global citizens, it's crucial that we stay informed. A well-informed public is less likely to be swayed by misinformation that can lead to unnecessary conflicts. By understanding the complexities of international politics, economics, and social issues, we equip ourselves to make better decisions and to question simplistic narratives that may lead to conflict. Each one of us holds the power to influence our global narrative towards peace. Let's choose wisely.